going to walk through how to use aiR for reviews custom analysis. So this tool is available to you to essentially look at two different types of documents, image-based documents and text-based documents. For image-based documents, you're able to look at the image and the AI will write a brief summary or extract text out of the image. It'll categorize the materials into different buckets that you provide. You can extract out certain pieces of information. If it's a picture of a medical record, or extract text out of a handwritten letter with pretty good accuracy. And even text-based documents are able to extract out and summarize pieces of information. If you're looking for maybe a serial number to be pulled out, or phone numbers, or other information such as building a summary, that information is available to you as well. And so now we're just going to walk through some samples that we have here, some 9 sample documents in our set here. We have a safe search that's already set up. So we're going to go in and we're going to go to our aiR for Review projects. Go ahead and get that set up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to select our new project. We're going to pick a custom analysis test. Pick our document set out. We have our demo sample here. I'm going to pick our custom analysis. These are going to be image-based, so we're going to pick vision. We're just going to pick early case insights we have here for this particular data set. So just what are you looking at on the screen? On the left, we're going to see our custom fields. We're going to go ahead and be able to select up to 5 of those, come up with a name, and then have 1,000 characters to describe exactly what we're looking for. Once we save that and we run the information that we're going to see up here, this will be a blue button. Once we type in the custom field information, it's going to build out each of those fields, so 5 of those fields here, and we're able to see exactly what we're looking at for each particular document. So let's go ahead and get started. So first up, what we want to do is we want to come up with document category. Then I have some pre-built information here, just kind of talks about how we want to set this up. And so let's just look at it. We want to classify this category into one image, correspondence, maximize this out, medical record, technical document, photo, general photo, financial record, legal report, other, and a few other information just on what exactly we're looking for. So we're going to leave that for our first category that we have here. Our second category is we want a document summary. So we're going to put that in here, and we are essentially going to ask it to summarize this information and pull some key elements that we have here. So we will look at that here as well. So, who created it? If it's visible, most likely not, but definitely can have that there. Maybe it's a painting that's signed by somebody in the bottom corner. Uh, Most important finding, issues, events, what it is, any next steps or actions, any name, states, numbers, locations, any of that kind of key information. If we can't find anything, we're going to put NA. So next up, we want to find a primary document date. So, think of a document that has many different dates, or maybe you don't have any of that information available to you in any metadata form you want to search on. We can pull that information out. So we want to add that in here. And next up, if you come across medical records, we can go ahead and kind of pull out some standardized information from that. So I'm going to provide some information here. Expand that out, kind of cover that real fast. So we're going to extract medical information in this exact format. So the provider, facility, the patient name, medical record, data service, record type, primary diagnosis, reason for visit, provider name. If anything's missing or field's missing, we're going to put NA, right? If it's not a medical record, we want it to put NA there as well. And then lastly, something that's a little different. Some of these photos will have some damage information, and so maybe you want to do some analysis on that and get some more feedback. And we essentially want to analyze, if there's any damage or defect or unsafe conditions. And so we want it to basically do 2 things: provide any stated facts, and then we want it to provide any potential inferences they can determine. And so we're going to provide back some information here. So we have our 5 categories. I'm going to go ahead and you're going to see as soon as we hit save, those categories are created up top here. And so next up, we're going to hit analyze 9 documents. You're going to see it starts validating the analysis here. It's going to say, hey, we've got a total of 9 documents. And that is yes. So we're going to go ahead and hit continue. So this will go ahead. It's going to take a few seconds to generate. So what we're going to see back is in that analysis results field over here, we're going to see those 5 categories that we have. And as it makes the determinations on each one of the categories, it's going to provide back the information. And then we're going to look at the information. Well, why not dive into it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and we'll be pausing and we'll come back in just a few seconds. All right, so we're going to walk through some of the results here. So you're going to see our information has populated. So some of the items, right? Document category, we look down, kind of get an idea of the name that we're looking for, technical document, medical records, general photo, correspondence, incident damage photo. So you can see some of that information here. Summary, this is a photo of a white water heater leaking water from the side valve and dripping from the bottom valve. It highlights a plumbing issue requiring repair or replacement of the water heater to stop the leaks and prevent water damage. Hopefully, nobody has seen this before, but of course, has happened time to time. No date, so we have NA, medical record. I have a lot of information that is NA there. Not expected, it's not a medical record. So we can see that here. Also, we have our stated facts and potential inferences. So the image shows a water heater with water leaking, right? You have that here. Potential inferences, a reviewer might infer that the water heater is a defect or a damage causing the leak. Perfect, good to know. So let's check that out and see exactly what that looks like. So we look over here, we're going to see, of course, it's exactly what we kind of expected it to be. And so what we want to do here is to go ahead and just minimize that real fast. And so we're going to see our image on the right here, and then we're going to go ahead and see our aiR for custom analysis test information on the left. So we're going to see all that information that we provided here. So just read that off to you. So we're going to go ahead and skip that. Let's go to the next one, right? Here we go. Unfortunately, somebody got in a car accident. The police ambulance has already showed up. So it's a photograph of a white SUV and a gray sedan, heavily damaged, police car, flashing lights, ambulance, right, indicating emergency response. And we have our stated fact information here as well. Jump over to our next one. Here we have a technical document. So it's going to say it's a technical drawing of a 12 MW offshore wind turbine. Looks like it was created on 5/20/2024. Details the dimensions, the meters, be able to extract our date information right out of medical records. So not shocked that that is information's blank. And so you can essentially see it's intended for engineering, construction, installation, planning on offshore turbine. So perfect. Got another very similar document that we have here. I'm going to go ahead and we can look at the date that we have for that information and skip over to the next one. Here's a medical record. So document summary, this patient's visited in page 1 hospital, created by Dr. Patel or Emily Carter. I'll just say this is a made-up document. All these documents are made up except for the water heater one. Of course, we have our primary date information, our medical records, right? We have our provider facility, we have our patient name, we have the medical record name, date of service, record type, all that information. And just one thing to think ahead, if we were asked this in maybe like a semicolon or something like that, what we could do is we could export this information out. We could build a load file and we could put these in certain fields to make them searchable and sortable, just like any other field that we would have in the database. So just something to keep in mind if you want to extract certain items out. You can see any other kind of items that we have here as well. So patient's symptom headache may suggest a non-serious condition, tension headache supported by the diagnosis. Go to our next one here. So we have our intake form. You can see it's a medical record, got our date, got our name and our other information. Very similar to the last ones. Here we have a general photo, right? Looks like you can see it's a person wearing a Marine Layer San Francisco hoodie, looking at the Statue of Liberty in New York City. Obviously, it's able to detect all of that based on exactly the information that we have. So the image highlights the contrast between the San Francisco branded clothing and the iconic New York landmark. So very, very interesting that it's able to pull back that information and see that the person visited. So as you would expect. Another information, we have a correspondence here. So the information here, we have a handwritten letter from Bob Smith to John Miller, praising the aiR for Review custom analysis tool for helping better understanding documents, surface important themes, and improve review efficiency. Bob Smith highlights that the tool saves time, improves consistency, and provides a better way to review complex information. This letter serves as a positive feedback on the tool's usefulness. So, obviously, some planted information here, but as you can see, right, very hard to actually read the text, but the tool's actually to pull out exactly what the content's about. It's just created that just a few minutes ago. So that's exactly what it says as I went through and updated it. Additional information, right? It's positive feedback for review tool. User satisfaction and perceived value of the tool. No damage, defect, or unsafe condition is explicitly described in the letter. And lastly, here we have another incident, damage and photo. So we have our made up company that we have here for turbines. You can see it's struck by lightning and it's catching fire. So able to detect all of those different things looking at the images. And it shows multiple pieces of information regarding turbines in the water. So uh, those are our samples. I'm going to walk through some other samples as well, and that are text-based in just a moment. All right, so now we're going to walk through some text examples. So we have 5 text-based documents that we have in our data set. So we're going to go through one of a similar process, go back to our aiR for Review projects, going to go ahead and get that kicked off. So click on our new project. We are going to call this just our demo text sample. We're going to pick the Save Search. This is the exact same name. And then we're going to use our custom analysis here. Go to our text-based ones, go to our case insights, create project. And so it's going to pull back our 5 documents that we have here. Same process, we're going to create our 5 fields, right? We have up to 5, so why not use all 5? And so we're going to go ahead and get started here. So one of the first ones we want to do is we want to do document summary. Want that same type of similar information that we have. And of course, you want to customize some of the field information and the instructions to the particular matter that you have. So we're going to do document summary. We're going to do a document category. So we want to classify certain documents by correspondence or financial or technical and legal, medical, etc. We're going to have it pull some key information. And so some of that key information is going to be things like people, companies, dates, documents, phone numbers, aliases, email addresses, all those fun things. Next up, we're going to have our product and serial number identification extraction. So, we're selling tractors in this example, right? And we want to know which tractors are being sold. And so we're going to pull back that information, any kind of model, unit number, all those fun things. And then lastly, we are going to pull in transaction or sales extraction information. And so these are just some examples you can do. You can, of course, kind of customize them to each one of your matters. I'm going to go ahead and click Save here. I'm going to click our Run Analysis. Once you go ahead and hit Start Analysis. So you're going to see our categories were created in the top of each category. And so since we kicked that off, it's going to go ahead. It's going to take a few seconds to run and extract out that key information. You can see we should start having results coming back in just a few seconds. All right, so we had it pull back our information here. So let's look at our results. So we have our financial statements, farming invoice, we have product serial number record. We're going to see some sample documents we have here. So our document summary, internal financial summary of Tractor Farming LLC for quarter 2 2026, prepared by our CRO, Illinois Tractor. On the particular date, bunch of other information regarding revenue and numbers. We have an invoice. We have our product serial number that's created. We have a document as an email from Jim Tractor, the owner of Tractor Farming Force, was sent on May 18th. Got some few additional items as well. And then a text message conversation between Jim and Eleanor. Some other items that we have categories. So we've got some financial records, correspondence, financial records. So it's going to pick the best category based on the information that we have. So if we wanted to tweak that slightly or maybe have it ask pull back multiple pieces of information, just want to clarify that. key items that are extracted out of the document. So we had that laundry list of information, such as people and companies and dates and numbers, invoices, purchase order numbers, all those fun items. So quite a list here. Product and serial identifier. If we have any of that, that information is going to be available. So we can see some of our model numbers and our Tractor Pro 5400 right there. We've got our transaction and sales extraction. So let's go ahead and just kind of look at these documents, right? And see exactly what's in there. So what we have here, and you're going to see very similar information that we saw pulling back comparable to the images. Viewer would be the same as far as being able to see the fields that we created and the information that was pulled back. Um, this is aiR for Review Custom Analysis. Thanks for joining along and hope you can try it out soon.